Hello and welcome to our video presentation on our placement at club development.
I'm Rob.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Glenn.
When applying for our placement, we decided to go into the sport development side of local sport. Glenn, what are your roles and responsibilities at your club?
I mainly worked I worked from both sides. I worked on the administrative side as well as the coaching side. On the admin side, I helped out with running for club events and some of the financial bits to set up for the start of the season. Also on the coaching side, I helped out with some year 9s and 10s coaching in preparation for the forthcoming cricket season. What did you two do?
Well, Rob and I, we first applied to go into the club development side, but we got told that we couldn't go into the administrative side because there's already a paid role for that. But we did go into player development. We worked with all ranges of ages, from 8-year-olds to 12-year-olds, right, and then later teens, so 14 to 16-year-olds, then all the way up to adults, and we were developing them to get them up to competition standard.
Although we were allowed to volunteer at the golf club, knowing that we couldn't go into the administrative side means that maybe they didn't trust us a certain amount with kind of financial and administrative, obviously, side of the club.
Yeah.
It is understandable that they wouldn't trust us though, because they don't know us properly,
Very
but
true.
maybe we could work our way up into that. If we volunteered more there, they got to know us.
Yeah, it's like with my cricket club, I've been there for the past 3 or 4 years, so they trust me with
Yeah,
the sort of things I've done. I've already helped them out with a
yeah.
few cricket tournaments and stuff
Yeah.
when internally at the club.
Yeah, likewise, back in Oxford, I would be trusted to do that at a local club I'm involved in, but down in Southampton, they, like I said, they don't know us.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we could build into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just building connections really. If we obviously went there a few more times, maybe done a lot more hours, maybe they would let us go into the administrative side of things, and obviously we could push on from there.
So Glenn, what do you think about the value of volunteers?
Well, from my experience at my placement, I found that I was quite valued at the club. It seems like they wanted people to help out. They kind of want to get the community into the sport, make it bigger in Red Legend Hill Cricket Club.
Yeah.
Just the various jobs, they were really thankful for me. They brought me, say, pints after the game, or like say a club presentation night. We have like a clubman of the year. The person that's done like the most valued volunteer will get this reward. How did you two find your values?
Well, complete opposite to yours really. I felt that we could have done a lot more within the club,
Yeah, I agree.
and it kind of felt like they were doing us a favour by letting us volunteer there than them actually needing us to be there. I thought that it would have ran the same without us there really.
Yeah.
It was just a kind of pair of extra hands.
Yeah, Nichols states that volunteers are central to sport in the UK, but whether that's true for golf, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think for golf, it's completely different compared to a lot of other sports, because I think volunteers in golf is very limited, and normally I'd say that if there was volunteer roles, it would be by the older members of certain clubs, and not so much like 16 to 21-year-olds that are just getting into it.
Yeah, like the volunteer roles are club captain, vice captain, but you see, the full-time pro, he'll do a lot of the work. He'd be doing all the coaching. He'd be running the shop in the pro shop. So really, where there's room for volunteers like myself and Rob, doesn't really fit into it.
Yeah, well, it's the same with cricket. Again, I think it's the complete opposite. It's the way cricket is run is just based on the volunteer system. Like if all like our Colts managers, they're all volunteers. All the coaches are volunteers, even though they say got a level 2 coaching qualification. The first aid men's captains, again, all volunteers.
Yeah.
The groundsman is also the club secretary, again volunteer. He spends a lot of time out of work to help out with a local team.
Yeah, again, Nichols has come up with a figure saying £307 million of government funding went to the voluntary sector. Did this go to golf? It doesn't seem like it.
I wouldn't say a lot has at all.
No.
Really. The thing is, it's not. It's more of an individual sport compared to cricket, which is obviously a more community team game.
Yeah.
Which is probably the reason why there's a lot more volunteers needed, as such. To be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think cricket, there's just more room for volunteers than what there is with golf.
So this obviously shows that volunteering is quite a good pathway for someone at a young age. David Marsden states that 1 in 5 18 to 24-year-olds and around 1 in 10 16 17-year-olds are neither in work or full-time employment. Makes a statement saying that obviously most volunteers are unpaid, so this obviously can lead to their major lack in commitment or effort to the club. Although that is true, I feel that Sam and I, we're always there on time. We're always insisting the coach whenever we were needed, and we didn't do much wrong, which is good because I feel like most volunteers obviously could lack commitment, and I don't feel that we did.
So then, Sarah, Rob, what do you think about the trouble with volunteers?
Well, I think there was a financial cost to us, so that kind of put. It's a bit annoying to us, but we didn't let it hinder us. But just getting to and from the golf course, it was far away, so we had to get a taxi. Buses didn't run to it. So yeah, certainly financial cost.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of money actually, just to go back and forth. So yeah, as Sam said, we didn't let it kind of trouble us. We kind of just got on with it, and then at the end of the day, we were volunteering, so it's what we're there to do. Another problem, I felt there was more we could have done, obviously, but there wasn't much else we could have actually pursued with, to be honest, because as I said earlier, we weren't allowed to do stuff on the administrative side of the club. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, especially with the whole money side of it is the main killer. I always found it's like I say, all the hours I work at the cricket club, I could be working with a proper job, getting paid a half decent wage, than spend.
Yeah, we were working alongside paid staff, which Houlihan states is a common problem. We didn't feel it really hindered us because we were happy to be there.
Yeah.
But Houlihan and Green, also go on to say the lack of training.
Yeah, I mean, we had no training at all, but I think because me and Sam have played golf for obviously years before coming here, for a long time. I mean, I'm at a golf club back home. I'm a member there, and I have been for about 8 years now. And I believe Sam plays a lot.
Yeah, and I've also grown up having golf lessons, so just putting what experience I've had from being coached myself to giving back to the younger players.
Yeah.
Did you find that as well? Like the experience you've had before.
Yeah, it's
Did you have any other training or?
Training wise, I haven't had, to be honest, too much. It's mostly you learn. It's almost shadowing mainly. You just do it when you're a little kid, and then you just follow what they do, and they usually help you out if you do have any problems.
Yeah.
It's that's what it's like. It's just a simple training system, really. Like with a golf club, obviously, I don't think they felt. Well, they don't. As you're not there for a long time, they don't really probably feel the need to train you two up.
Yeah,
That's it. With say cricket, while working at the cricket club, they seem to be investing in us to help out in the future with the training. If we do, some advanced things. So.
Yeah, the problem with training, Sharp agrees with Taylor et al. That these days less volunteers are used for a heavier workload with specialised skills, so that is significant for volunteerism, concept of volunteerism, and particular sport volunteerism. So I think that's certainly something to think about.
How do you feel that the Conservative Big Society plan has affected volunteering, especially in the cricket club that you were at?
Well, first things first, the Big Society is a scheme to get more members of the community to run schemes instead of getting members of the government or local council to run public funded schemes. This is also, Putnam's also suggested that more people are likely to keep themselves to themselves these days instead of actually coming together and helping each other out. Pawson also added that social policy, such as a big society, is more of an ill-defined intervention than a big ambiguous outcome. This is very similar to what we said as well, who also added that instead of actually improving society, a big society is just trying to get more political votes for the Conservative Party. I don't really see how it's affected our cricket club, the whole Big Society scheme, because the cricket club was there a good 20 years before the scheme was even thought of. All the volunteers still come along. We still have dads from the kids that play cricket to come along and help out, and we've still got people that's been there for a couple of 20 years.
So the concept of the Big Society was already there.
Well,
because
yeah.
there wasn't outsiders coming in, it was really everything internal from the club.
And also, I think, like the club I was at, it's a little village. I think everyone's more knows each other, they more know their next door neighbour.
Yeah.
But say if we go to possibly your golf club or maybe a big city like London, you may see the Big Society scheme working better.
Yeah, I find that because if you're in a city, you don't talk to your neighbour really.
No.
Have you found that?
Well,
Living in a village, you talk to all your neighbours.
yeah,
There is a sense of community, which is what the Big Society is all
obviously
about.
better.
You help each other out. But with you said about our golf club, there was within the golf club itself, you have cliques, you have your playing partners, and although you may play against other people in competitions, you tend to just play with your playing partners. And although in a sense it is a big society, in another it isn't, because everyone's not coming together. It's just you're with your own people and you keep yourself to yourself.
yeah.
It's a very individual sport.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is basically I don't think it really concerns golf in a kind of way, because it is more of an individual sport, and as you say, you only kind of know your playing partners, and if you might know a few people as friends just around the course and that, but it's not kind of a community game, as I've said many times. It's more compared to obviously cricket, like especially being a village as well. I think because it's at Southampton, which is obviously a city, there's many people there that won't know anyone at all, basically, and they're just there, just on their own or just with a couple of people, and I think that's as far as it goes, really.
yeah, I think Field says that the Big Society and Social Capital is a valuable asset for a basis for social cohesion, but I don't think that applies to golf.
No.
Because we've stated it's an individual game. You play with your friends.
Yeah, you may play doubles now and then, like you may have a playing partner, but apart from that, a couple of competitions.
You can play on your own as well, can't
Yeah.
you? So
Of course, with cricket, you can't,
Yeah.
quite simply.
You have to have a team.
Yeah, even to practice, you need at least 2 people.
yeah. Whereas golf,
exactly.
you don't.
Just hit a ball.
Anything else to add, Rob?
Kendall and Nat say that it is created as a byproduct of participation within voluntary organisations, and by this they mean if a club has volunteers, then the Big Society should follow. Social Capital is a byproduct and is based around obviously the Big Society, and if there is volunteers at a club, then Social Capital will obviously be present. But in our experience, as it was at a golf club, and there's not many volunteers, I mean, me and Sam were the only 2 there, I don't feel that is what happens at a golf club compared to other clubs such as a cricket club or a football club and so on. Volunteering is work experience with the added possibility that the act of choosing to be a volunteer can obviously show greater initiative or employability in the future, and that's by Volunteers England have stated that. So.
Through your volunteering, do you believe it's enhanced your employability?
Yeah, I feel it has. It's definitely improved some of my skills. Like my leadership skills are improving every time I'm coaching. It's getting my confidence levels up, which probably will help with interviews.
Yeah.
Also, like I'm getting an opportunity to organise more events now. For instance, I'm going to be organising a cricket tour for August, which is just going to help me out, hopefully, on the CV again. I'm also building a network with more people. Like for instance, I'm currently talking to the chairman of the District Cricket Association. He's trying to get me into working in the district sector, and that would hopefully lead me on to county coaching.
Yeah.
And also, I'm getting some funding for my level 2 coaching course as well, which is again another thing to put in your CV. And again, what I will learn from that will help me, hopefully, get me a job at the end of it all. How are you two feeling about it all, employability?
I feel that I have, just from the hours that we've done, have a bit more experience. I feel that I have developed a few of my coaching skills, especially like communication and one-to-one kind of coaching, which I haven't done a lot of before, so that was nice to kind of do that. But I do feel that although on our city it can go on our CV and it will be recognised that we have volunteered at the golf club, I don't think the coaching will actually help that much in pursuing a kind of job in the sports sector in future. I mean, it's good to have on the CV and that, but I don't feel just those hours at that place will actually develop it that much.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Rob. It's not. I think it's good to have the experience down there, putting on the CV. Someone might pick it up, but I don't think it will massively. So
have you had a chance to like build a network with any coaches, or has anyone even said, come along to this? We may need to help out for that.
That's the thing. Like we said before, golf club's very internal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
there was one coach there when we were there. We had his email whenever we talked to him, but I don't think he'll be looking for anything, and he won't be networking our kind of.
No, that's a shame, really.
Yeah, it is, but it was good. It was good to do.
Good, yeah. Like Trout says, he says volunteering is a huge asset to your employability. Whether ours was, I don't.
I'd have to disagree a little there with him. Obviously, if it's maybe something like you do, obviously doing a lot of hours, you've been there for a while, you're networking and communicating all the time with different districts, and that long term, it's gonna be very good for you. But for us, just for those few hours at a golf course with one pro who we hardly get emails from ourselves, I don't think much is going to come from it, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either. Which, looking back at our placement is probably a mistake we made. So probably looking for a placement where we could have done more. And then we did at the start say we would be willing to get more involved in the club.
Yeah.
But nothing's really come of it. We tried to push it, but it didn't seem very interested. So it's something we'll have to look at in the future. No.
Yeah, I think it's just a disadvantage of life for both. You don't actually live around here, do you? So you don't have the networks to get this volunteering placement. Quite simply. Yeah. It's like I've done this since I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
Just helping out at a cricket club, and then it all builds up from there.
Yeah.
I've even I even got jobs from, other people, not say coaching, but from my networks at a cricket club, I've got other jobs on the side. Like, say, I worked as a builder once, one summer, just because I knew the cricket captain.
Yeah. It's rebuilding our networks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back home, I've got plenty of networks there, but that's not going to help me here.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Back home, I'm at the golf club. I mean, if it was the golf club where I'm a member, then I'm sure a lot more would have come from it, and I would have been doing a lot more when I was doing the placement, and maybe got a few.
You've definitely been more valued.
Definitely. 100%.
I was quite sure you would be.
Yeah.
So, if you were to do the placement again, would you change anything?
Again, it's just the whole the old scheme. They have my cricket club with the old people in charge, not doing a lot. Yeah. To make something new happen, come up with new fundraising ideas. Like, there's lots of new fundraising ideas, but not many people want to implement these ideas. Yeah. Again, it could be because of time constraints. Volunteering does take a lot out of you. life, doesn't it?
I think if we were going to do it again, probably look at another golf club
Yeah,
to go to.
another
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
I mean, I was really happy going to a golf club.
Yeah.
'Cause we
it's
love-
something we're
love
both
this-
into.
yeah.
So
Mm.
But I think we'll look to go somewhere where there's more of a coaching influence.
we can
we could
maybe work in the administrative
Get
part
yeah,
a bit
get
more.
into their admin,
Yeah.
get into the actual club, the heart of the club. So
And
maybe
obviously get a few more networking skills for it. Maybe
Opportunities,
get
yeah.
more communications, which can obviously help pursue a career in the future.
so. Yeah, I think all in all, we enjoyed ourselves.
Yep.
What we got out of it could have got a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel?
Yeah.
Could have got a
I
lot
feel
more
that
out
we
of
could
it.
have got a lot more out of it, and I feel if we went to a different golf club, maybe we would have as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there.
And that concludes our discussion on our placements. And following is our reference list.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.